Hi guys, Shane Stevenson again here at the Buffalo Naval Park with Lucas, the archaeologist. And in our prior video, we went to the 01, 02, and 03 levels, and we looked at the overlapping bulkheads, and we showed how narrow that original superstructure was and how it expanded a beam of the ship to starboard and port during the conversion in 1960. So now we're on the main deck, and Lucas has some exciting stuff. And again, initially we thought institutional lore and institutional knowledge said that they would have just ripped off the whole superstructure from 1957 to 1960. We're finding now with Lucas's help that this isn't the case. So we're going to walk forward through the breezeway and then down starboard a little bit as well. And why don't you take it away?
Yeah, so when we were looking at all the different overlapping bulkheads, we noticed that from this weld beam, this welded bulkhead all the way around the exterior overlaps between the 1940s and the 1970s. And we know that since this was an exterior, we should find a bunch of doors to lead to the inside. And sure enough, we got here and we found this is the former door to a passageway that you would enter, and it would take you down to a ladder that you would go down to the second deck. Today, they moved this door forward for what we see here.
And that also is a passageway that does go through, but there's some compartments off of that space. The photo lab is in there. What used to be a repair shop is now in there. That's now our paint locker, things like that.
Yeah, it looks like they only kept this exterior outline, and everything inside is completely gutted.
So what you're saying is this is still the outside of the 1940s superstructure, 45 to 47 or 49.
Yes.
And then they scooped everything out on the inside and then rebuilt it for the 1960 conversion.
Yes.
Okay, great. Let's keep moving forward. Here we go.
So as we move forward, we get to this door. Now, on Miami, this door was the electric repair shop, but on Little Rock's 1947 plan, it is the heavy machine gun repair shop. Moving forward again, there's a smaller door that gets kind of obscured by this beam and whatever this housing is. On Miami, this is the Navigators office, but on Little Rock, this is the SP radar room. So now we're going to head around the corner through the breezeway, and we're going to get to another door on this forward bulkhead. This is another separate radar room. This is for the RCM radar, and it is an RCM radar on both Miami and Little Rock.
So we have two radar spaces in this breezeway right next to each other in 1947.
Yeah.
For the Little Rock.
Yeah, they're next to each other. The doors are just on different bulkheads.
Right.
So now as we move to starboard, again, it's a little difficult to see, but there is another door here with this weld. We can follow it up and see the curve around here, and then it continues down over here. This is a kind of interesting door. So on Miami, this is listed as a deck office with a porthole on the starboard side. On Little Rock, this is a 20 millimeter clipping room with a pass-through for the ammunition. So, around the corner again, we have a porthole, but then there's another weld that's exactly where we would expect that 20 millimeter pass-through. So this tells us that Little Rock in Miami, at least for this room, probably was correct for both. So from 1945 to 47, this probably would have been that deck office that we see on Miami, and then in 47, after they do that little refit, this becomes the 20 millimeter clipping room. But that's kind of strange, right? So in 1945 and 46, the 20 millimeter Oerlikon would have been right here, right outside, but it's not there on the 47 plans. So they're going to have to carry it farther away. So that's something that we'll have to look into, is what happens to all of the 20 millimeter rooms.
Yes.
Why would you need to turn this into one, especially since you just removed the Oerlikon right here?
See, now that's the small, we just talked about heavy machine gun repair space. But in terms of the 5-inch and the 6 inches, they're the light anti-aircraft, 20 millimeter and 40 millimeters, and we haven't covered any of those yet. So we know, I think our brains are working in conjunction here to say the next few videos we will probably begin focusing on the 20 millimeters and 40 millimeters, just like we did with the 5-inch and the 6-inch. But yeah, this is, again, to me, it's very quickly, it's astounding that this represents that 1940 superstructure, 1945, 47, 47, 49 superstructure that they kept when reconverting in 1960.
And it also makes sense that we see both of these here, because Miami is not just the same class as Little Rock. They were built at the same shipyard, and there are pictures where the two of them are still being built, not quite side by side, but in the same picture frame.
Yeah, at Cramp Shipbuilding Company, they constructed 4 to completion: Astoria, Miami, Oklahoma City, and Little Rock. So now they're using the same shipyard plans, right? So it's right, it's not just the same class being built, one in San Francisco, one in New York. They're right next to each other in Philadelphia at the Cramp Shipbuilding Company, using the same plans for all 4.
Yep.
Interesting.
So, now we gotta move back again. Have another door. This would have also led to a passageway like the first door we saw, and it would have led down, it did lead down to a ladder. But what's different about this door is they moved the door forward, but they left the ladder in place. So in the 40s, you would have entered this space from back here, and actually just on the other side of this bulkhead, and you would have gone down the ladder, and the ladder would have been reversed. They changed the direction of this ladder because you stopped entering from here and started entering from back there.
So what you're saying is, where you're standing, do you want to open the door there to the head, if you can? Yes. So the passageway and the door that we just looked at with those red mounts on them led right to the other side of that bulkhead. Here's the ladder. The hatch probably would have been, we are assuming the hatch would have been open like this, with the ladder going forward to aft, as opposed to aft to forward the way it's configured now. So you'd come in that passageway, boom, here's the ladder, and you go right down.
So now that we're back outside, we've moved aft again just a little bit, and we have a bit of a mystery here. We have another mystery door. This does not appear on Miami's 1946, Little Rock's 1947, or Little Rock's 1970. So this door might have been here in 1960 when she reactivated, and then they just filled it over and used that one, made that one maybe. But it's a bit of a mystery. And unfortunately, we can't really look to pictures because this isn't a very interesting part of the ship. And also, any pictures in this area will show the boats and the cranes, so you can't even see this part of the superstructure.
You'd almost have to have the camera right here where we're at.
Yeah,
or at some angled, shallow angle to see what would be here.
Unless we can find some crew member's picture that just happens to be in this area, I don't think we'll know.
Right. No, that's true. And that's some of those mysteries that we've seen on board. And of course, right behind Lucas here is that weld that we saw on port, right, where the curve, potentially the 1960 right here, 1945, 47, from that jut out, all the way through the breezeway, and all the way back where we started the video. So Lucas, come on in. Thank you very much. I hope you're finding this series, as we know you are, you're finding it enjoyable. I mean, really, I have to give so much credit to Lucas. He's not from Buffalo, so he goes home, he does research, I'll send him some blueprints, he does his own blueprint research, and then he'll email me and say, hey, I've got some ideas, this is what I found, here's some examples of that, and then we discuss it and we roll with it. And Ryan, again, can't thank Ryan enough behind the camera. Say hello, Ryan.
Hello.
All right. I love that. Thank you. And, and thank you for coming along for the ride as well. As I said, for our prior videos, we've had about 9,000 views. Thank you so much for your support, and it shows that there's a lot of interest in this real archaeological record-keeping, blueprint reading, not technical blueprint reading, but blueprint reading, tracing those years and through time and space. So thanks again, and you know what? We will see you again soon.